Hey crafty people, it's Tasha here and I'm back as a guest designer for the month with Trinity stamps. I'm super excited and super grateful to have the opportunity to come back to you guys and guest. So I'm going to be making a slimline card today. We're going to do a bit of mixed media and then we're going to do some Copic colouring on those beautiful gorgeous seashells. So we'll start. I've got a slimline size, so 8.5 by 3.5 inch piece of this is, I think it's the Distress watercolour cardstock, and then I've got 2 of the Ink on 3 reinkers. So I've got Peacock Blue and Trinity Teal. You want to make sure with these that you give them a really good shake before you use them, because some of the pigment can settle at the bottom, so you want to make sure it's really well dispersed. So I've just added some dots of those 2 colours across this. It's just like a laminated sheet that I've got that I like to use to protect my work surface. I've just dotted them over, spritzed it with some clean clear water, and then just dunked that slimline sheet into it. It's literally that easy. I'm going for sort of a water effect, so I wanted the random colours, different blues, and the sort of movement in the background to sort of signify water. So next up I'm going to add some splatters. So first I'm adding some splatters of the liquid fairy dust. Again, make sure you give that a really good shake before you use it. Then I tried to spritz some of the Shark Tooth Atelier ink, but it wasn't working great for the splatters. They were kind of just going straight into the background and weren't standing out as much as I had originally wanted. So instead I've grabbed out some, what's it called? Oh my days. Gouache. That's the word I was looking for. Gouache. So I've taken some white gouache and put that on and just water that down a little bit and spritz that over to get a whiter kind of splatter. So next up I've got the gorgeous seashell foil and cut. So I'm not using the foiling part for this card. I've just used several of the dies that you get within to cut out the various pieces of the shell. So you can see up there in the top left I've got like the outline, and then these pieces that I'm colouring are the pieces that came from inside that outline. And then I've also die cut some background pieces as well, which is what you can see just above there. So to help me colour them and keep them all in place whilst I'm colouring, I've just got them all stuck onto a little piece of press and seal, just because it's just holding them in place for me, and I've been doing this recently and quite like it. And then I'm just adding some detail with my Copics. So I've chosen a few different sort of beige, brown, cream colours, and I've added a quick sort of wash of the colour, trying to add it slightly darker towards the bottom of each piece, trying to sort of add it a little bit darker towards the bottom of each piece, and then I've attached the outline piece to one of the backers, and I'm just going to place those individual little bits back inside. And once I'd done that, I realised that I wanted some more, some darker contrast in those bits where the shell would naturally go in. Like, you'd get a natural highlight across the top of those bumpy ridges, and it would be darker in those lines because that's where would just be natural shadow in that area. So that's what I'm kind of adding here. But as with flowers, like I always say, nature is pretty cool and pretty random. So it doesn't have to be perfect, because no shower is ever going to be perfect, same as no flower. So, you know, add your own sort of stamp on it. And yeah, just have fun and just keep adding until you are happy. So I've now got another one of the outlines that is in white that I've stuck onto a backer piece, and then I also cut the gold, the outline piece from some gold mirror cardstock, but before I die cut it, I added some double-sided adhesive to the back, and that just makes it a little bit easier to stick all of those little pieces in place. So originally I was going to keep it white, but I decided to add the same sort of colour to the outline for that as well. And then I have a second shell that I coloured in exactly the same method as that first one. So I'm going to set those aside and work some more on my background now it is fully dry. So I'm going for a sandy kind of effect here. So I've got some grit paste. This is the Snowfall one. I think it was a special edition for Christmas, but you can get loads of different grit pastes, and I'm just adding some of the Bee Sting Yellow re-inker into it, because I just wanted sort of a yellow textured area that I could put at the bottom of this card panel, because I'm just kind of going for sand and sea. So I did want it to be quite abstract and fun. I was just enjoying playing with my supplies, really, and I do really like how it came out. Now, unfortunately, because these inks are so strong, a little bit of the blue ink got pulled into the yellow, so it did go kind of a little touch green in places, but I think I got away with it. Let me know what you think. So I've added just a bit of some really beautiful gold and clear mixed embossing powder just on top of that texture paste, and then I am going to heat set that with my heat gun. Obviously you can leave that to dry naturally. I was kind of hoping that if I dried it quick enough I'd avoid some of the blue, which I think I did, So I've got 2 parts of my sentiment stamped from the new Simply Sentimental birthday stamp and die set. I love this set. I think it's amazing. I am going to use it so much. It's such a brilliant staple piece. That, yeah, I just think, you know, we're going to use that a lot. So I stamped out one of the birthdays, and then I've added some colour and some sort of glitz to that, and then stamped a sub-sentiment as well. I started to put down my shells and realised that I'd put it a little bit too far away from the edge, and I wasn't going to be able to fit everything in. So luckily, because I had the liquid glue on there as well as the double-sided adhesive, I was able to just whip that up quick enough that I could move it. Then I added my gold shell in the middle, and then when I went to put the sentiment on, I realised that it wasn't quite in the right place. So I really, really carefully and gently peeled it up. I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to do this, but I did manage it, so I was pretty happy about that. And I just shifted that shell up just a little smidge so that I'd have enough room to put my birthday sentiment underneath. I put the other part of my sentiment across the shell, and then I added some of the new seashell confetti pieces, sequins, that were also released in this release. So I hope you like it. It's a bit of fun, a bit of mixed media, some Copic colouring, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. Let me know what you think, and I'll be back at the same time next week for another video tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. If you aren't already subscribed, I'd love it if you'd please consider hitting the button. and I hope you have a lovely, happy, safe and wonderful week. Stay crafty. Bye.